Somalia is a country where lawlessness reigns, where whoever has the most and the biggest guns rules the turf. Correspondent Reggie Harris, who's just back from Somalia, has more on that tonight in his Somalia diary. Reggie.
Jim, if Somalia had as much food as it has guns, American troops would not be there. Guns are plentiful throughout the country, and they make security tough to handle. There has been no governmental authority in Somalia for 2 years, so the rule of law has become the gun. He who holds the biggest gun rules. Under that system, the American military is the new boss. In Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, the safest place to be is one of the American military compounds, at the airport or the former U.S. embassy. Even with troops on the streets of Mogadishu, the streets are not considered safe.
Yes, it's dangerous here. Yes, there has been sniper fire. There are people that still walk the city with some small arms. But within the compounds and within the airfield, we feel quite safe.
Just outside the compound gates, there is danger. People gather in small groups. Some come to watch the troops, others await an opportunity to commit a crime. I went out the gate with armed Somali guards hired by CBS News. Less than 100 feet beyond the airport gate, a man attacked me with a dagger. He tried to cut the strap to my bag and steal it. He missed the strap, then stabbed at me, fortunately missed again, then he ran away. After several journalists were attacked, some seriously injured, U.S. Marines began periodic walking patrols to clear the area. Ironically, this soldier from Long Island City's Queensbridge housing project told me that Mogadishu seemed to have less gunfire than his home.
The fire here is a little less sporadic than it is back home in New York. For me, I just seen a little bit of sniper rounds here and there. It's not as, back home I would hear it a lot more often sometimes.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's not as bad here for me as for where I come from.
Relief agencies and news services have also set up compounds behind the high walls of former embassies and hired armed Somalis as guards. As we rode through Mogadishu, 2 guards kept pistols loaded and cocked. But Mogadishu is not the only part of Somalia ruled by guns. 180 miles northwest in relatively quiet Hadur, an 875-man militia, a police force of sorts, keeps order and protects the town from bandits who, we were told, would loot the daily food shipments flown in from Kenya. Hussein Adan is the leader of Hadur's militia. He tells me we're not the kind of people who are just robbing the people. We're only a militia who devote ourselves to save our region and our people. For his services, Hussein receives 80 of the 350 sacks of food that arrive daily. His men and their families are well fed. He takes less food than robbers would, but more than anyone else in town gets. Who is his enemy? He says there are a lot of enemies that are going to steal the food. Last week, before the military rolled into Hadur, the Air Force was already showing presence, and leaflets were dropped asking Somalis to help the military help starving people. But secure roads will put some people, like Hussein Adan, out of business, so the troops are not universally welcome.
Those people that have been profiteers, racketeers, hoodlums, whatever you want to call them, are not going to like us, and they never will. But we're here for the majority of the people and their well-being.
The Marines' mission has changed slightly since they've been in Somalia. They went in not expecting to disarm the country, but now, if weapons are seen by American forces, they are confiscated. Tomorrow on Channel 2 News at 11, we'll look at what the Air Force calls the Air Bridge. It's the parade of U.S. planes that have carried the weight of Operation Restore Hope, taking everything needed from troops to toothpicks. Tony, Jim.
All right, Reggie, thank you.